Hey everyone, welcome back to Rides and Bikes, your go-to channel for all things two-wheeled and thrilling. Today, we're diving into a machine that's been turning heads since its concept reveal, and now, in 2025, it's finally here in its full production glory, the Benda LFC 700. This isn't just a cruiser, this is a statement. It's bold, different, and defies categories in a way few modern motorcycles dare to. So let's get into what makes the Benda LFC 700 a wild card in today's motorcycle scene. First off, let's talk about what the LFC 700 is and where it fits. Benda, a Chinese motorcycle manufacturer, has been making waves with aggressive designs, solid engineering, and a fresh attitude. With the LFC 700, they've entered the heavyweight cruiser market with a bike that doesn't just imitate how it innovates. At first glance, you'd think this is something born in a sci-fi movie, with design lines that feel part cruiser, part muscle bike, and part alien tech. It's low-slung, long wheelbase, stretched out to an extreme 1,680 millimeters, and fitted with one of the widest rear tires ever seen on a production motorcycle, a monstrous 310 millimeters. That's right, let that sink in. That rear tire is wider than most supercars, and it's not just for show. The rear end gives the LFC 700 a planted, dragster-like stance that immediately communicates power. This bike is built to make an impression even before it fires up. Now, under that aggressive exterior, you've got some real engineering going on. Powering the LFC 700 is a 4-cylinder inline-6 80cc liquid-cooled engine, a configuration that's rare in the cruiser segment. Most bikes in this category go for V-twins, but Benda's taken a different route, delivering smooth revs and high-end power. It churns out around 93 horsepower at 11,000 revolutions per minute, with torque figures landing around 63 Nm at 8,500 revolutions per minute. For a bike that weighs close to 235 kilograms dry, it's got enough punch to surprise you. This isn't a torque monster off the line like a Harley or Indian, but rather a rev-happy, refined powerhouse that loves to be pushed. The engine's character is much closer to a sport bike than a cruiser, which creates this really unique riding experience, yet a mix of laid-back ergonomics with aggressive performance potential. It's like a stealthy predator come on the outside, wild when provoked. And let's talk about the gearbox. The LFC 700 comes with a 6-speed transmission that shifts smoothly, paired with the slipper clutch that makes downshifting drama-free. For a brand that's relatively new on the global scene, Benda has absolutely nailed the feel of the drivetrain. There's a confidence in the way this bike responds to throttle inputs, especially on highway cruises and higher RPM rolls. In terms of rideability, the LFC 700 might look intimidating, but it's surprisingly approachable once you're moving. The low 695 mm seat height makes it easy to plant your feet, and the ergonomics are laid back but not overly stretched. The mid-forward pegs, wide bars, and long tank create a cruiser posture that's comfortable even for taller riders. Despite the low stance, cornering clearance isn't bad either. Sure, you're not going to be carving mountain switchbacks like a naked bike, but the handling is more agile than you'd expect, especially with that massive rear rubber. Now, let's move on to Designo, because let's face it, the LFC 700 sells itself on looks alone. This bike is a showstopper. The flowing lines, the muscular sculpted tank, the underbelly exhaust setup, the LED headlamp cluster, it's all art. The attention to detail is impressive. Even the side-mounted rear shock and the exposed frame elements feel purposeful. It blends modern cruiser style with futuristic aesthetics in a way that's hard to categorize. It's like a concept bike you can actually buy. Lighting is full LED all around, from the vertically stacked front headlamp to the sharp tail light assembly. The instrumentation comes via a full-color TFT display, clean, legible, and packed with info, including gear position, trip meters, fuel range, and more. It's not overly high-tech, but for its price bracket, it delivers just the right balance of modern features without overcomplicating things. Speaking of features, let's talk about braking and suspension. Up front, You've got twin-disc brakes with radial calipers, and at the rear, a single disc manages stopping duties for that massive wheel. ABS comes standard and kicks in without being intrusive. The brakes aren't superbike spec, but they're more than capable of hauling this cruiser down from triple-digit speeds. Suspension-wise, the front is handled by inverted telescopic forks, and the rear gets a horizontal monoshock. It's not adjustable, but the damping is well tuned for urban and highway rides. You'll feel some road imperfections, but the ride remains composed. Now, what about tech? As we mentioned earlier, Benda isn't trying to overwhelm you with gadgets here. No riding modes, no traction control, no Bluetooth pairing adjusts you, the bike, and the open road. And honestly, there's something refreshing about that. It's pure, mechanical engagement. Riders who crave a raw, analog experience with just a hint of modern refinement are going to love the LFC 700. Let's talk pricing because this is where things get really interesting. In the 2025 market, you'd expect a bike with this level of styling, a 4-cylinder engine, and this level of uniqueness to push into premium territory. But Benda is shaking up the market with an aggressive price point. The Benda LFC 700 is priced at around $7,800 though that can vary slightly based on markets and taxes. In many countries, it significantly undercuts its cruiser competition while offering a completely different flavor. That price puts it head-to-head with mid-range cruisers and even some entry-level sport tourers. But with looks and performance that punch far above its weight, it's hard to argue with that kind of value. But we should also address the elephant in the room: reliability and service. Benda is still building its global presence, and dealer networks aren't as established as Honda, Yamaha, or Harley. That means buyers need to be aware of potential challenges when it comes to sourcing parts or getting qualified service. That said, early impressions of build quality are positive, and the brand is actively expanding into new regions. So, who is the LFC 700 for? If you're a rider who wants to stand out, who values unique design and a sportier take on the cruiser segment, this bike is a no-brainer. It's not your traditional American-style cruiser. It's not trying to be retro. It's a fresh, modern take on power cruising that breaks the mold, and that alone gives it a unique selling proposition. It's the kind of bike you buy when you're tired of sameness, when you want something that makes people turn and stare, something that feels like the future, not the past. If that speaks to you, then the Benda LFC 700 is absolutely worth a look. To wrap up, Benda's LFC 700 is one of the most visually arresting, mechanically engaging, and value-packed cruisers of 2025. It's not perfect, and it's not trying to be, but it is daring, it's different, and in a sea of similar machines, that counts for a lot. Thanks for watching Rides and Bikes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment if the LFC 700 has caught your idea, or if you've had the chance to ride one. Let us know your thoughts. We've got more reviews, ride tests, and motorcycle features coming your way every week. Until next time, ride safe, ride smart, and keep your wheels rolling.